Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today, I know there's a lot of panic, a lot of fear, and I want to address it all. That is why I'm going to talk about the 4 reasons why I think Bitcoin is falling. It's actually a little bit more than 4, but I've condensed it to 4. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I think we're seeing what we're seeing and why you should not be panicking. I know so many people are asking me and wondering if there's a bigger dip coming. Is this the top? Should I be selling and taking some profits? Should I make cash for the incoming dip? There's just so many questions. So hopefully I'm going to answer them all in this stream. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you follow me, hit that notification bell, hit that, hit that follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also TikTok. All right, guys, lively chat already. I know there's a lot of FUD in the air. A lot of people are like, what is going on? Calm me down, George. Well, hopefully I can do that and actually tell you why Bitcoin is falling and why you guys should not be panicking. All right. So, starting with Bitcoin's price right now, 42.7. I know this is not a point we want to be at. This is much lower than the 58, 55 that we were seeing not too long ago before the Elon effect. Or is it? Is this caused by Elon? Or I'm sorry, I missaid his name. Alon. Is this due to Elon or is it due to something else? Right? And remember what before when I said, hey, we should not be complaining when Bitcoin is at 55, 56, 58. Remember those days? And it was taken for granted, these days. Now those days don't seem so bad, right? So this is why you don't want to take things for granted. But don't worry, we will get back up there. But is this caused by Elon's FUD or is it something else? Well, obviously, let's start with that. Let's just start with that. Obviously, Alon has been saying a lot of stuff on Twitter recently. And now he's trying to backtrack a little bit because it's just, some of the stuff he said was just pure trolling for the hell of trolling. And some stuff I consider to be major violations of what the SEC told him not to do, which is price manipulation of Tesla stock. So one of the things he did say yesterday was that that Tesla was going to be selling Bitcoin and that Bitcoiners were not going to like it. So he responded to this one scammer's Twitter post. And now he's saying, to clarify speculation, Tesla is not selling Bitcoin. So now he has to backtrack that. And of course, this is going to be a thing that SEC looks at. Some people wanted me to clarify, like, hey, SEC doesn't care about Bitcoin. Why would they look at this? Well, when you make a declaration like this, it affects consumer confidence. It's consumers or investors, I should say, that are looking to buy Tesla. Statements like this, whether or not he's going to be holding on Bitcoin or selling Bitcoin or dumping Bitcoin, that affects them. And if it's reflected in a positive or negative light, that could be a big major no-no, especially if what he said wasn't true. He did this before. Remember just last year, he talked about, I'm going to bring Tesla private. I have funds secured. Tesla stock skyrocketed. Guess what? He didn't have funds secured. They didn't go private, and the stock tanked afterwards. And guess what? That's considered manipulation. So what he was saying yesterday was basically that. And now he's backtracking. So obviously not a good look. Not a good look for Tesla, not a good look for him, not a good look for anyone in the industry, even people that really, really, really support him. So why did he do this? I'm gonna share with you some reasons. Number one, a lot of people, I don't think this is a real reason, but look at this. SNL ratings low after Elon's appearance. Is this a coincidence? Is it because of what he's done, or SNL just purely sucks, or something else? But SNL is not doing well, and many people credit that his appearance is what led to his downfall, what led to his mindset change. I don't know, but that could be a reason. Another reason is because I stated before, because Tesla simply wants to be approved for their green energy credits that they're applying for right now. That makes a whole lot of sense. But it doesn't explain the trolling that he has been doing over the last few days. It just makes no sense. He trolled Michael Saylor really hard. He trolled a lot of these other influencers very, very hard. He's claiming that he knows better. He was part of PayPal, so he knows how money works. Yet he was fired from PayPal. So I don't know the exact reason, but here's another one. Here's another one I want to present. Try to connect the dots. I know it's a little bit on the conspiracy theory side or whatever, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. So a lot of people sent me this morning, talking about this Wyckoff distribution, this Wyckoff pattern. This was brought to this guy. I don't know who he is, but his channel is Uncompilation, so take a look at it. But he brought this up like a few weeks ago. I guess maybe it was spread on Reddit. I don't know. But basically, he was saying that this is Wyckoff pattern is what the big whales utilize to manipulate the market. This is one of the things that they do. They tend to accumulate, hype things up, and then they dump, and then they start the pattern over again. So this guy was looking at Bitcoin's daily pattern and how it's very, very, very similar, if not identical, to the Wyckoff pattern. And then he was claiming, and this was back in April, that, you know what, we were going to see something major like this come down, right? Since then, this has been off about 2 to 3 weeks. And we were actually in phase D, we were like just hovering here. We were just hovering here until we started moving down. So actually phase D got moved if we're in this Wyckoff phase. But here's the thing though. This is why I bring up Elon. Bitcoin was doing fine. It was going sideways. And then all of a sudden this happened, and then this happened, right? Due to Elon's shenanigans. So, you know, you connect the dots. Is there a connection there? Some people are claiming that what he's doing is manipulating Bitcoin's price so that he can accumulate lower, or his buddies and others can accumulate lower. Is it because they're trying to follow and trying to implement the Wyckoff pattern? Maybe. I don't know. Again, I know this is a little bit on the conspiracy theory side, but hey, you know, when it comes to big money, when it comes to whales, you can't discount these kind of things. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we can't account for, right? So is this somehow connected? Maybe. So that's another reason why that, hey, maybe Bitcoin is coming down because of the manipulation. We have seen that before. There's plenty of manipulation. But the thing is, why do whales do this though? Because they want to accumulate and redo it and keep pumping afterwards. This is why I always say about whales, right? What's the ultimate end game for whales? Why do they want to drop prices? Why do they want to drop Bitcoin? They want to drop Bitcoin because they know it's valuable. They know it's scarce. It's going to go a lot higher. So why do they want you to sell? So they can accumulate. They want to steal your Bitcoin away from you, right? They want to take that life-changing wealth from you so that you miss out completely. And they have been very successful doing that over the past few, not just the past few days, but over the course of the last 11 years with Bitcoin, there's been plenty of movements like that, right? With FUD and just, you know, media just bashing Bitcoin, and through, you know, manipulation I've shown you guys with futures, expiration, and so forth, right? Ultimately, all of this is to steal Bitcoin or crypto away from you so they can get it at a lower price. So you don't want to fall for that, right? You don't want to fall for it. And the reason why they're doing it is because they know it's going to be a lot higher. Otherwise, if it's going to be worthless, why would they even bother doing it? No, they're accumulating because they know Bitcoin is also the future. Just like I know it, just like you guys know it, and just like why all these institutions, why they're getting in, they know it too. Fundamentally, nothing has changed with Bitcoin. It's going to go a lot higher. So you don't want to fall for any kind of shenanigans, whether or not this Wyckoff pattern is coming true due to Alon's effect or not. Right? The long game, that's what you need to focus on. That's what you need to focus on. All right. Now, outside all this, one thing also that can pertain to this, that why Bitcoin is going down is tech stocks. Tech stocks are getting hammered right now. Okay? Not just Tesla, but I like to use them as an example, but you could see that from their highs from the last 3 months, they have been coming down quite a bit. And if you look at the rest of the tech sector, it's also coming down. So we know that Bitcoin and crypto is technology. They're not exactly correlated, but there are times where it's very, very, very similar. So tech stocks have been getting hammered. And something that's a known thing with stocks is, you know what? You sell in May. You sell in May and go away. So that's a thing that has always been, like, I guess, like a strategy that you follow. Because traditionally from May to October is when the market underperforms. And then you buy back in October. But obviously 2020, 2021, really weird years. So we don't know. The stimulus with all this money being injected, things were just like, going crazy, right? But this also, I think, has effect of why Bitcoin has been weird for the last month or so, or even the last few weeks because of this. Because tech stocks and stocks in general have not doing that well, but particularly with tech stocks, they have been hammered. And I've been saying this too, not just tech stocks. If you look at like all the Bitcoin related stocks, even Coinbase is not doing well anymore. Coinbase, once it IPO'd, it was really, doing well because of ARK Invest. ARK Invest was buying a ton of Coinbase shares. But look at it, since its debut of high of 300 and something, 370 or something, it has been hammered by Wall Street. And if you look at like Riot or any of the mining companies, hammered, because there is also this collective, I would say, collusion of Wall Street that is also trying to bring down Bitcoin, because they know Bitcoin is going to eat their lunch. They're not prepared to lose that power yet. So they're trying to do what they can to suppress prices, at least for publicly traded companies, because that's really what they're focused on. And that is why not only tech stocks is hammered, but particularly Bitcoin related companies are also hammered. So this is also driving a lot of FUD around with different kind of companies and just them general investors, because I know a lot of you guys also buy stocks, right? So this is another reason why. Okay. Now, finally, I can't turn off the volume because I'm vacuuming, because they just happen to come at this time. It'll be done soon. But, all right. Lastly, I want to talk about the final reason where I think this may be the most plausible. The one that is actually driving things right now. And some of you guys may have guessed it. At the end of the month, there's a big futures and options expiration. And for the last few months, I've been looking at the options, right? And options expiration, at least the max pain price has been a true indicator of where Bitcoin settles. Last week of last month, it settled exactly around 54,000 where the max pain price was. And the month before that, it also settled right at where the max pain price was, because it seems like the whales that are driving the market wants to kind of cause pain on both sides. Okay? So I decided to look on Deribit, and Deribit has options that expire not only the end of the month, but during the week as well. Specifically, there's one today, there's one tomorrow, there's one on the 21st, and then there's one on the 28th, which is the last week of the month. Okay? And if you look at the one that's going on right now, the 18th, okay, that's the one that's set to expire tomorrow. Guess where the max pain price is? It's at $45,000. So obviously coming down from our 54 from the end of April, right? So even though the volume on this is low, it's much lower than the one that's set to expire at the end of May, which is at 54,000 in terms of max pain price. The one that's settling tomorrow is 45. And then the 19th one is at 45. And then the 21st one is at 50. And then it ends in May at 54. So does this have something to do with it? Or is this the driving factor? This could be. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I have a theory that this is actually what's driving the market, that the option traders, right, they're somewhat kind of dictating where things are going right now, as of right now. because there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of doubt. People are kind of fearful right now. So I do think that they could have a bigger play at driving prices, especially right now. So we'll see. Tomorrow, if we settle back at 45 from our current price at 42.8 right now, or 43, then I do think this is the ultimate reason. And if that's the case, then we will see Bitcoin go back up to 54,000 by the end of May, which is next week, right? So I think this also has a big part in what we're seeing right now. So ultimately, the four reasons why Bitcoin is falling. Well, obviously you have the Alon Effect, right? That can't be discounted when you have such an influential person that is talking nonsense about Bitcoin and others. That's gonna have effect, right? There could be a lot of manipulation behind the scene, and maybe Elon is part of that, as seen with the Wyckoff pattern. Also, you have stocks that are doing not very particularly well in May, especially tech stocks, especially Bitcoin-related stocks as well. So that definitely is having effect too. And finally, I think Bitcoin options could also be having effect. So these are the four reasons why Bitcoin has fallen. But like I said at the beginning, what does this mean? Does this mean the top is here? Does this mean we have entered a bear market? Does this mean that the crypto market is forever going to be held down? No, doesn't mean any of that. Like I said at the beginning, why is there manipulation in the first place? Why do whales want to drive prices down? You might think that's counterintuitive, that it hurts them because they have so much Bitcoin. No, because they know there's a lot of retail people in the space that haven't seen this before, and their ultimate goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they can, just like my goal, just like what your goal should be. And one way is to do that is to buy lower. And the difference is they can actually drive things lower and force you to sell. No, they can't really force you. They can drive a lot of FUD. Ultimately, you decide if you're going to sell. And that's why if you do, then you're transferring your wealth to them, right? So what you want to do instead is you want to mimic them. You want to buy things when it's low. You want to buy things when people are panicking. That's how you make the most money. So the best thing you could do is to have cash on the side. And if you want to enter and you want to buy in, you dollar cost average. You sprout your buys, right? So you have cash on hand, and then you dollar cost average, you buy in low, and then you hold. That's it. You don't want to give up your wealth to these big guys. So that is how you win the game, the game of crypto, I should say. There are a lot of super chats. Hold on, guys. Hold on before I get into Q&A to get into Q chat. Any wallets for VeChain? Yeah, there's a lot. There's their native wallet, so you can always look at that. This is thoughts on this being the dip we need for a massive upward move. Yes, that is what a lot of people say. Oh, that brings me up to a fifth reason, but I'm gonna mention that. Well, okay, it's almost 20 bills. Borrow market strong. Okay, yeah. So another thing, I guess the fifth reason, I don't really mention this because I'm not like a really big TA guy, but some of the bigger technical analysts feel like we need to hit a certain mark before we can move up again. And one of those marks is the 200 moving day average, and that is right over here at 39.5. So there's been many people that have stated in the past that Bitcoin actually is moving a little bit too quick. If you look throughout history, Bitcoin tends to fall back to this 200 EMA on the daily, right? So last time it did this was around over here, around 8,000 after coming up so much. Then it actually went down a little bit below, and then the last time we crossed it was right around here in May of 2020, almost a little bit more than a year, and that's when Bitcoin again was at 8,000, and ever since then we have stuck above. We have never hit it before, but if you look in 2017, there's been times where Bitcoin retraced back to it. If you actually zoom in, you'll actually see that a lot of these periods, you'll see that Bitcoin actually comes really close or touches it, like over here, right? Like over here was a clear example where it did drop, it hit it, and then it recovered and continued back up. So many technical analysts also think that's what needs to happen, is that Bitcoin has gone up way too high, way too fast. It does need to correct, And once it does, it touches it, it continues onwards, going towards 100,000 plus. And that could be another thing. That's what a lot of people have been talking about for quite some time. So that could be like a fifth reason. All right. So that's pretty much it. Lastly, I just want to talk about two other things really quickly before I get into Q&A. Number one is Charles Hoskinson. He seems to be really into all these Twitter battles right now, like all these things that's going on. He himself got into one with Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban kind of like called him out, saying, you know, it's a red flag when you ask me to come over your place to pitch me. And then Charles got really pissed off about it. But I will say Charles's response to that, this one, Mark Cuban Cardano, I tweeted this last night. This was the best video I've ever seen Charles make. It's a clear, concise, short, to the point video about Cardano, what they're trying to do, and what their future is. And if you don't know anything about Cardano, you should watch this video. This is the one video you watch, and it'll make you understand everything else behind every other stream that he has ever done, all like put into one. And it's not that long. So if you want to know about Cardano, watch that one. That's actually a really, really, really good one. And then he came out one about how to fix Doge for Alon, because of course he knows what's going on. And this one is just pure like, it's like trolling, but it's not. it's like a troll video made into like a normal video. So if you're curious, watch that one. But this one is actually really, really good. And then lastly, Vitalik was asked about his Shiba tokens. So he donated 1 billion. Then he decided to burn basically the rest, 6.6 billion, because he didn't want to have so much power. And then he still has about 10% left, about $1 billion left, where he says he's going to donate to another charity. Here's the surprising thing. You would figure Vitalik would come out and say that I'm doing what I'm doing because, you know, I don't like what's going on with Shiba. I don't like that, you know, they have risen so fast and it's just a project that does nothing but offer deflationary aspects. But that's not what he said. That's not what he said at all. First of all, he said, I don't want to be a locus of power, which is why he's getting rid of it. But then, to quote, I've actually been impressed by how the dog token communities have treated the recent donations. Plenty of dog people have shown their generosity and their willingness to not just focus on their own profits, but also be interested in making the world as a whole better. I support all those who are earnestly doing that. That's actually much better. I mean, that was not the message I was expecting him to say. But I mean, it kind of shows you that I guess he does respect anyone that is in the space, that's building something that I don't know. I don't know how to take that. I still don't agree with it, but whatever. Vitalik likes it, so let's just go with that. All right, guys. And then finally, I did want to point out the one bright spot of today, the one shining star is not one, but a couple. But the big one is Solana, which is up. It formed a new high. It was just at 50. So there is definitely some hope there. Polygon is also doing well. Theta is doing well. I mean, this is within a sea of red today, right? I know there's just a lot of FUD and uncertainty, but you got to see that a lot of these altcoins are holding pretty well, and some are holding even better than Bitcoin. That shows you that there are retail investors that are not falling for what's going on right now. They truly believe in the future, and they continue to practice dollar cost averaging and hodling, right? That is the way to win, dollar cost averaging and hodl, and also to learn how to take profits going up, right? Either have cash or take profits going up so that you can take advantage of dips when they present themselves, right? When these projects present themselves as a bargain, that's when you're supposed to buy, right? Buy low, sell high. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. All right, I'm gonna scroll back here. I think I answered most of these. Yeah, a lot of people said today is also tax day. Today is the last day to file your taxes in the U.S. unless you're doing extension, right? So some people speculated that because of tax day, because of this weekend, people will go sell to pay their taxes. I find that hard to believe. I don't believe that people are selling today for that reason, unless I mean there are some tricky things that you can do. I'm no tax expert. This is not tax advice, but some people have claimed that they purposely sell at a loss to kind of make up for their gains for the beginning of the year, right? So there is like tricks you can do where you could sell and show a loss and buy back right away, and then you can calculate those taxes for next year. So there are little tricks like that. So, but I don't know too many people that are actually doing that, but I have heard that that is one of the tricks you could do. So maybe that plays into it. But if you're simply trying to sell to make cash to pay for taxes, I don't know. It's too close of a time period for me to believe that that's actually the case. But maybe that also has something to do with it. Yeah, someone just said, yeah, you would have to sell at the end of the year for that. So that makes more sense. Yeah, so that's why I'm not an accountant. What would it take for you to believe a donation coin is legit? Like Happy, would you give a look and interview them? I mean, for me, even donation, even charities outside of crypto, I still question sometimes. There's a lot of for-profit charities where you look at the board members and you look at the people running them and how much they're paying themselves to run a for or non-profit organization or charity. It makes you wonder whether or not they're doing anything. So, I mean, I'm very, very wary of those kind of projects. If BTC starts moving up, do you think it'll hit a new high? Altcoins as well. I have no doubt that this bull run is still continuing on. I have no doubt that there is manipulation, but I've seen it before. I've seen it many, many times. Just yesterday I was talking about, the FUD, this whole Alon FUD thing, right? This is not as bad as some of the things we have seen before. One in particular that I always remember is 2017 when China banned Bitcoin. It literally dropped 50% in one day. So that would be equivalent of a few days ago, dropping from 55,000 down to like 20,000 in a single day, right? That's what happened because back then when Bitcoin was coming up again, the same kind of fear and doubt that was being spread around. Oh, is it getting too big? Is it going to fall? Are the governments going to ban it? And guess what? A government did. China banned it. That was disastrous. That's much worse than Twitter battle going on right now, okay? Or Twitter trolling. But it took some time, but Bitcoin recovered. Bitcoin recovered. People didn't care. And you know what? Look at where it is now, right? So this has happened before. We have seen FUD rule Bitcoin for some time, or whales manipulate Bitcoin for some time, but ultimately the holders win. The holders that have been accumulating behind the scenes, the guys that have been doing it for many, 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 many cycles, they're the ones that are billionaires or 100 millionaires or multimillionaires. They ignore the FUD. They have seen this before time and time again. I have too, and that's what we all need to follow, right? That's how you truly win. Cordell, thank you. Following your rule 55-25, 50-25-25, I feel like too many coins. I mean, if you can't, the limit of it is basically what you can track. If you feel like you have too many coins, that means you can't track them all, which means that you do have too many coins, right? It doesn't matter if you have 3 or 10 or 20. You have to be able to track them and keep yourself updated on them. If you can't do that, then you're running a risk where, you just don't know what's going on with them, right? Earnx is launching a usable RFID chip. Carpet, okay. NFT carpet, okay. Okay. I don't even know why you need to have NFT carpets. Okay. I'm not gonna talk about these like unknown launch coins. MTech just proposed a white paper to the Federal Reserve to utilize Hedera for CBDC. I'm telling you guys it's going to be big. You know what? If the Federal Reserve comes out with their own digital dollar, I don't think it's going to be based on any current project. I think they might hire someone as a consultant. Maybe they hire Cardano. Maybe they hire Hedera. But I don't think they're going to utilize any of them. My excuse to the IRS is I lost on my Bitcoin on trade. Hey, that's happened to many people that play with leverage. If you play with leverage, you could get wiped out in one single trade or multiple trades. That's why you got to be careful. Ryan asked about Tron. You know, Tron is just kind of hovering around. You know, they had their glory days in 2017, 2018. Justin has bought out a whole bunch of projects. No one knows what's going on with them. There's no synergy. So I don't know what's going on with Tron or BTT or Wink now that it's an Oracle or any of these other guys. Steam, Sun Network. I mean, there's so many. There's no integration at all. I don't know what's going on with them. I know Tron made some moves recently because they pulled in some celebrities to do NFT. So obviously they're in NFT play. But man, how do you know if a project has been rug pulled? Well, obviously, if you see a mass dump of tokens, usually that means you've been rug pulled because the sellers are dumping, right? Usually when that happens, there are a lot of detectives that find out right away, but clear obvious sign is when it starts dumping like 50, 75% in a day, you know something's wrong. Solana once again performing in a dip. That's 4 straight days. Yeah, Solana. You know, Solana. I like Solana a lot. They're a promising new chain. They have the support of FTX and Sam of Alameda Research, right? They've been underperforming for quite some time. So it does not surprise me that their turn came. But it does surprise me that they're doing this well during a downturn, which shows you that Sam and Alameda and FTX, they're probably buying. They're probably buying more and more and more Solana right now, which also shows they're not afraid of what's going on right now, right? So you got to pay attention to some of these smaller things too. Same thing with Matic. Why has Matic been going up and not stopping, right? Because there's a whole bunch of people that believe in DeFi, especially the DeFi coming to Matic and how they're thriving after they come into Matic, like Aave. Aave made a move and their volume, their transactions skyrocketed because users are no longer hindered by slow transaction and high fees, right? That is why. This, again, shows you that retail does not care as much as before. This really didn't exist before. In 2017, 18, 19, 20, when you had Bitcoin this week, literally everything would be in red, not only red, 20, 30, 40% dumps. But now you could see that, yeah, even though there's a lot of red, but there's also a lot of projects in the green too, which really did not happen before. It also shows you how strong retail investors are now. The graph hit all-time high mid-February. It's been 3 months. Yes, I think their turn could be coming. The graph is one of those projects that's really necessary in DeFi, so I do like them quite a bit. Are you bullish on Rune? Rune is also holding very well. I know a lot of exchanges like Rune. I know like Exodus really likes Rune. And I'm talking about, Thor chain. But, you know, I honestly don't know that much about them. I know that they're like an aggregator of multiple tokens, and it's great for exchanges. But yeah, they've been holding very well. You can see for the week, they're still in the green. Today, they're down a little bit, but for the week, they're up 4% versus Bitcoin's down 26%. So they're actually really doing good too. Jose asks, what do you think about oldish coins like Qtum, Neo, WAN Chain, IOST, Quark Chain, Dragon Chain? I think some of them are doing good. Like Neo is doing really good, holding really well, has been moving. WAN Chain, interesting. They've been coming up a little bit, but still. Like Qtum, I know they've been doing well. I don't quite understand it. I was never a big fan of Qtum, and the other ones I don't really like. So it really depends on if they have that traction or not. Is now still a good time to get into Solana? I think after it settles down, yeah. Because they've been stagnant for a while. They have been doing really well the last few days. We'll see where it goes. Once they like kind of settle out, I think they're good time to get in. Pundi X integrates with Chainlink. Okay, good. Pundi has been really weak. Ever since they had to redenomination, they've just been not themselves. But hopefully they pick up. Chainlink, they're just utilize them for their oracles. So I don't know if that's really going to help their price. But is that Arnkey? ANRX? Yeah, Arnkey, they're a DeFi play. They're creating a DeFi gaming ecosystem, an NFT ecosystem. Celebrity NFTs drop. Can't describe the word. I have seen it before. I wasn't very overly impressed with it. But if they do get some good celebrity NFTs, then it could definitely help them. Right now, NFT marketplaces, they're driven by two things. Celebrity endorsements, like these one-time sales. Or they're kind of like the leader of something. Like OpenSea is the leader of the ETH marketplace, right? BSC, kind of toss up. I would say Bakery Swap is the leader, but there's a lot of things coming. So, yeah. Walton Chain, no. Walton Chain. Oh, I forgot another thing about NFTs is licensing. Licensing, that's important. Walton Chain is like a VeChain competitor. I think they died some time ago. So, Algorand announced is working directly with 20 plus central banks. Yeah, I have missed that. That could be pretty big. You know, people always ask me about Algorand, and I'm like, I don't know much about it. There's just doesn't seem to be like a whole lot of things going on. But if they could actually come out with all these CBDCs with all these different nations, that could be a big thing for them. That could be a big thing. Varan asked about VeChain. I'm a big fan of VeChain. I think it's going to go higher. It has been stagnant, not stagnant, but it has been going down quite a bit. One of the biggest losers of the recent decline. You can see down 30%. They just went below 10 billion. They became a mid cap again, but I do think their time will shine. I think VeChain and Theta, these two, man, I think they've been stagnant or down for too long. I think their turn is around the corner. Venus is also very, very undervalued because of TVL on Binance Smart Chain, but also I saw on the slide that it could be going to Cardano too. So it's going to be, think about it, if they have this lending system on Binance Smart Chain and Cardano at the same time, that'll be pretty big. That'll be pretty big. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Overall, Bitcoin is a little bit weaker, I know, but I gave you 5 reasons why it is falling right now. But ultimately, what should you do? Should you be panicking? Should you be panic selling? Should you exit a game? No. We have seen this time and time again. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter what the reason is. If it's because Alon Effect, if it's due to whale manipulation, if it's due to May being traditionally weak for stock markets, is it because tech stocks or whales are trying to drive down Bitcoin, right? It could be any of those things or all of those things, or it could be all of the above. But what you want to do is not panic. You never want to panic sell. You generally don't want to sell on the way down because you may regret it when it comes right back up. What you want to do is sell high, buy low, you dollar cost average, and you hold it, right? That is it. We're definitely still within a bull run. This is not the end of bull run. So there is a lot more gains to be had. And we have seen many periods where Bitcoin does stall out or consolidates or just takes a breather, and then right afterwards, it comes right back up, right? So you don't want to fear yourself out at this point in time. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys.